The Seattle Mariners need a fix. Let's talk about it. So for starters, sorry for the makeshift setup here. We just moved, so I'm getting my desk soon, so I should have a much better setup in future videos. But I haven't posted in a little bit, and I really wanted to talk about something as the Seattle Mariners continue to struggle and have officially lost sole possession of first place. So far, they've played 2 of the 3 games against the Astros, and they have not looked good. They have not looked confident, and they just seem to continue to be struggling even out of the All-Star break. And there's a few things I just want to talk about on 2 guys that I think they should really go out and acquire that could really make this team better and really make them a force to be reckoned with. And I also want to cover one other thing to prove that they really can go out and do this if they wanted to. So for starters, there was a chart going around Twitter which showed how much each team in the league made last year in terms of revenue and how much they used in terms of 2024 payroll. So it was ranked based off percentage, and the Seattle Mariners were 23rd in the league, and they had a 40.4%. So to give you exact numbers, the Seattle Mariners made $396 million in terms of revenue in 2023, but their current payroll in 2024 is only $160 million. So that is where the 40.4% number comes from, and there are 22 more teams in the league that have a higher percentage than them, including teams like the Miami Marlins. And just to push this point that ownership has money, the other night they had an attendance of 40,948 at T-Mobile for the first game against the Astros. So they are continuing to make a lot of money in revenue. So to be totally honest with you, I don't know, as a personal Seattle Mariners fan for my entire life, I don't know how you guys would feel, but if they really go out and just get mediocre bats at this deadline, I will not be happy with it. This team really just needs to go balls to the wall and just see what happens. So that transitions to me into my 2 guys that I believe would make this team better, and I'm going to go into certain reasons because I think there is one guy that you guys will disagree with. So both of them are above league average bats, but one is a much better bat than the other, but I think the other one brings a certain element that this team is really lacking. So for starters, and this is not the best one, but this is the one that I believe that would go out and help us, and that is Jazz. The Seattle Mariners have already been linked to being favorites to land Jazz, but I know a lot of you are not happy about that because he is just a league average bat. I believe he has a 101 WRC plus as we sit here now. And there have been rumors that he is not a very good clubhouse guy, but I don't think that would really fly in Seattle. But the main reason that I really want him is for just his swag. Obviously not just his swag. He is a still very good player overall. He's just about league average bat wise though, so he doesn't really bring too much to our lineup. But the way our outfielders such as Mitch Haniger are right now, there is just so many options that would be better at this point. But Jazz has a very big confidence and swag about him that I feel like this team is lacking, and you can really see that in the Astros series. They just have no confidence, they have no swag, and I think Jazz kind of compares to me like a guy like Jesse Winker, who just isn't a guy you want to mess with because he's just going to give you it back. Not saying that guys on the Mariners team right now wouldn't give it back, but they aren't really guys that are like problems, if you want to put it like that. Not that Jazz is a problem, but he really isn't just one to just get messed with. He is a Jesse Winker. Nobody wants to mess with Jesse Winker, and if you do, you know what's coming your way. And I think that is something this team's lacking, just that fiery guy that just isn't afraid to say it, open his mouth, or, be swag, like have swag. So for that reason, and he is obviously a good player overall, I do think he is a good guy to acquire for a few reasons, but I know a lot of you will disagree with that, and that's totally fine. But I'm looking at it more of less than necessarily his stats being super good and more of just what he brings in terms of that swag that this team is really missing, in my opinion. And we know the Mariners, they're not going to let any of that fly, but when it comes to protecting his team, I believe Jazz is one of those guys. So now for the big bat, because if they just were to go out and get Jazz, it wouldn't be good enough, plain and simple. He would help this team, but not that drastically. And here's where Vladdy comes into the conversation. Vladdy has really started to find his consistency this season. He has a 138 WRC plus, as well as he's hitting 293 with 16 home runs. And I posted this yesterday, but Ty France has been the 6th worst player in the American League since May 1st in terms of WAR, with a negative .1 WAR. So we do need a change, and we need a big upgrade at first base. And now the one thing I do want to say in this video is that these are just not just guys. There's other guys like Isai Paredes that I'd definitely be interested in them getting. But if I think I really had to hone it down into 2 guys that I think would make an impact in more than just being a player, I think that is Vladdy and Jazz. And to be honest, at this point, they are both massive upgrades over what we have. We don't even have league average guys right now. Like I said, Mitch Haniger, Mitch Garver, all those guys aren't even being league average. So Jazz being league average is still an upgrade. And Vlad is being that power guy that can come in, hit for high average, and just really just make a huge change to this lineup. And to be honest, I don't want to hear that we can't afford it or we don't have the prospect capital. We have all of that. We have the money, we have the prospect capital. It's just a matter of whether ownership will let Jerry and Justin spend, but we'll see. But if this team does not make a major change right now, I'm telling you now, they will not make the playoffs. They're already been struggling massively recently, and this offense is not getting any better no matter what the situation is. Julio hit a 2-run home run the other night, and you would have acted like we just won the World Series because we just can't produce offense. And for some reason, our bullpen is struggling as well right now. So there's just a lot of things going wrong, and they really just need to go out and get bats that will make an impact today. But as fans, man, I don't know what we would do if this team really doesn't go out and get anyone that is like, wow, because that's somebody we need. We don't need another league average guy or below league average guy that has a proven track record, but really hasn't been showing it this year. And that's one reason I'm not really super interested in Bo Bichette, because he is really struggling, and bringing a struggling guy to Seattle really will not help him. So in my mind, those are the two guys that can go out and really fix this lineup. Like I said, there's other guys I'm very much interested in, like Isaac Paredes. But I think these two guys, if we were to go out and only get 2 bats during this deadline, I think these are the 2 that I would love to get, just because I think Jazz brings that swagger that this team is really, really missing. But please let me know your guys' opinion, and let me know if you think ownership will let them spend at the deadline. But otherwise, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.